2018. My name is Aubriana Landrum, a graduating senior. I would like to give a big thank you to family and friends who made it out here tonight to show support and love for the seniors. It truly means a lot to each and every one of us. Before we get started, there's something I'd like to say. Seniors, I know our school year has been one heck of a roller coaster, but I mean, we made it right here, right now on stage. Tonight is our night. Now, I know most people in the building are wishing that the ceremony would end quickly, even the seniors. Believe me, so am I. But I also know some are wishing for the ceremony to go great. Well, perfect. In all due respect, please try to hold all the craziness in until the end of the ceremony. Audience, if you don't mind, give each of my classmates a chance to shine in the spotlight as their name is being called. So enjoy this evening, and we are glad you're here for this special ceremony. Let's begin. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Class of 2018, please be seated. Thank you, Aubriana and Delaney, for that warm welcome. Good evening and welcome to the 2018 Phoenix graduation ceremony. I am Ken Moeller. I'm principal of the Phoenix School of Discovery. I would like to welcome graduates, parents, guardians, caregivers, faculty members, staff, and guests. Good evening to all, and what a beautiful night. To start, I would like to recognize the members of the people sitting here on the stage with me tonight. Please hold your applause until all the members have been recognized. Chief Operations Officer, Dr. Mike Razor. Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Katie Ferrari. Evaluation Transition Coordinator, John Ansman. Assistant Principals, Kathy Johnson, Steve Heckman, and Tom Ludwig. Counselors, Selena Newman and Nancy Breitenstein. Please give them applause. I would now like to have the members of my faculty and staff please rise so we can recognize you. Please stand. Students, this celebration is to honor you and your accomplishments. We are so proud of you and of what you have done. Tonight we have an interesting theme: Rise, Transform, and Soar, which kind of works out nice since that's our motto. We have worked very hard for tonight's program to have pieces of Rise, Transform, and Soar into each part of it. You can see in our crest, if you look in the program, it's a part of it. You can see if you look at some of the names of our classes, it's a part of it. If you also look at our school expectation, Rise, Transform, and Soar is a part of it. Tonight, the theme will resonate through each element of the ceremony. We will hand out Rise, Transform, and Soar awards. The last lecture will be the theme of Rise, Transform, and Soar. The stoles are worn tonight, demonstrate how the students have started the transformation process. And finally, Caden Brothers, Ethan Hemming, will sing the song Bridge Over Troubled Waters, 1964. I was 3 years old when that thing came out, which should be very interesting. Please place very close attention, because inside your brochure, or your program, is the words of the song. I know that they believe that the world is around them, and that this whole song is about them. But as people that are working with our students, just realize that last stanza is really about you. And that is, family and friends are the bridge to their transformation. So tonight, Caden and Ethan, when we get to the final stanza, just realize that they're talking about you and that they are using the bridge that you've created to truly soar. So let's get started. I would like to tell a story about this group. Now, they have heard this story multiple times, but this is the last time I get to tell it. This is like pre-Rise. If you think of Rise, Transform, and Soar. They were in 10th grade, and we had this great idea as administrators that what we do is that every day for 40 minutes, we would meet with each class in different rooms. The teachers would work on a project, and that the administrators would get an opportunity to know the students, bond with them, and get to know them. These kids were not the easiest ones to work with. We met with them every day. We tried to develop relationships. Quickly we learned the 10th grade class was a handful. You could not keep them quiet. They were disrespectful, incredibly frustrating. In fact, Jason Harvey, who is probably the most mild-mannered administrator we've got on the team, said, "You're not going to make me go back in there." So why do I tell this story? They've transformed. They're an entirely different group today. No longer childish antics, no longer that silly stuff, right guys? None of that stuff anymore. They've grown to be soaring ladies and gentlemen. Family and friends, thank you for supporting your graduate. I'm sure all of them will take many steps on this long journey. I would also like to thank Miss B and Miss Smith and Miss King and all of the faculty and staff that help with this program. Thank you as well. I would now like to bring Katie DeFerrari up to bring greetings from Jefferson County Public School. I would like to introduce the Assistant Principal, Katie DeFerrari. Thank you.
Hi, how are you this evening? It is so nice to be here, and graduates, I am super proud and excited for you. The first thing I want to do is celebrate, and I was talking to Principal Moeller, and I said, one thing I want to celebrate about this school community, students, staff, and all included, is your patience. When I started supporting Phoenix, it was probably 2 years ago, and there was a lot going on. Not all great. And Principal Moeller and I met, and I said, what really do we need to get accomplished? And we both decided, along with feedback from staff and kids, we've got to get back to the original mission, vision, and identity of what this school is meant to do for students. And it was something that we've all worked on as a team. And it has been a bumpy journey. There is no question about it. But what I'm really excited about, beginning with this class and moving forward, is Phoenix School of Discovery has been able to build a really unique niche for itself, not just in Jefferson County, but in Louisville, for not only rigorous instruction, but personalized learning. And that is something that the blended learning and personalized learning platform, it's tough, and it's gaining a ridiculous amount of momentum, not only in our district, but nationally. And Phoenix is a trendsetter, and it's going to be that. And it's so exciting to see the commitment of not only the students, because they had to commit. And as many of you as parents know, we had the conversation about, do you understand what this kind of learning looks like? And is that something that you want to do? The other thing I want to celebrate about the students sitting on this stage is, these are students that are willing to do things differently. It takes bravery and courage and resilience to do things differently. I want to celebrate, for some of them, they didn't start the journey with the Phoenix. They tried to do things other places and were like, yeah, this doesn't work for me. And you know what? There is something great to be said about you students who are courageous enough to say, I want things to work for me. I want to learn the way that it's comfortable for me in a place where I know people care about me. And while this is a tight-knit group, it's a small group, but it's a special group. And it's a unique opportunity to do things differently. So as parents and students, I would celebrate that opportunity, because all students don't get it. And some need it and didn't choose to go that direction, or maybe had parents that didn't support them going a different direction. So I really want to recognize you. And then teachers and staff. Now more than ever, teachers probably feel the most unappreciated they've ever felt. We have a lot going on. But teachers make the difference. They're the ones that had to, for some of them, learn how to do things differently to support your child, in a school doing things differently. And that's a big deal. For newer teachers, it might be more natural. For some teachers that enjoy the technology piece and that personalized learning piece, less difficult. For some that were not either, more difficult. And all of them have learned to embrace that and are working through that with the support of Principal Moeller's vision, but also because they want to support the students. And I just can't celebrate that enough. I can't wait for the new location. I feel like that's a rebirth. I think it's a new opportunity to continue supporting the identity of the Phoenix. Lots of really cool things that are going to happen there, and I think people were pleasantly surprised about the differences. Finally, I'd like to say, students, of everything I'm going to say tonight, I want you to think about a couple things. One, don't ever stop setting goals for yourself. I'm not sure what your next step's going to be, and I'm sure for many of you it's going to be different. But what I challenge you to do is make sure that you always set another goal, and then another goal. Maybe college isn't what you want to do. You want to do something with your career or industry or post-secondary certification. All of those things are amazing, and they're contributions that are much needed in our community. But what you have to make sure you do is don't settle, and don't think that this is the end. I'd say the second thing is find something you're passionate about. Dr. Polio was here earlier talking to another group, and I think the message is important and something that he has said he wants to communicate when he is not with us. And that's find something that you're passionate about. Anything can be a job, and many of you probably have them now. But if you find something that you're passionate about, it doesn't feel like a job anymore. Just make sure that you remember you've got to care about something and keep that energy burning, the energy that we're going to talk about tonight with many of the program's details. I want to wish you luck. I want to thank you so much again for your courage and bravery in choosing something different with the Phoenix School of Discovery. And again, to staff, teachers, all of you, thank you so much for the difference I know you've made in these students' lives. And I'm thankful that I was here to share it with you.
I would now like to introduce the valedictorian of this class, Dara Lambert.
Good evening and welcome. I would like to start by congratulating everyone in the class of 2018. I know the years of hard work and the level of commitment you have put into making it here today, and I'm very proud of everyone for making it this far. I've been very honored and humbled the past few weeks by watching some of you present your last lectures. There are things that I have learned about you I never would have expected, and I am amazed at the work you not only put into the presentation itself, but for the resilience that you have had since childhood. I hope that after you leave today, you take away the same lesson I did from watching your presentations. You never know what someone is going through unless you know them very well. Always be kind. One good deed can change someone's life. I often look back to when I first started high school and remember how terrifying it was. I was shaking like a leaf when I walked through those doors for the very first time. I wouldn't have made it through that day without keeping a few words of wisdom in mind from none other than Amy Poehler. She once said, "Great people do things before they're ready. They do things before they know they can do it." Doing what you're afraid of, getting out of your comfort zone, taking risks like that, that's what life is. You might be really good. You might find out something about yourself that's really special. And if you're not good, who cares? You tried something. Now you know something about yourself. Walking through that door for the first time may have been terrifying, but it has opened so many other doors. There were many firsts over the past 4 years. My first prom, my first time taking the ACT, though it definitely would not be the last, even my first job. So many days and memories, all that led up to my last first day of school. I want to thank everyone at Phoenix for making a new memory with me every day. It's been hard to realize that many of my firsts have now become my last. My last time joking with Dr. Brewer in class, my last yearbook, even my last fist bump from Mr. Harden. I'm going to miss all the little things that made high school special for us all. 4 years turned into 4 weeks, turned into 4 minutes, all in the blink of an eye. And now I've only got these few minutes until it's all in the past. But I'm ready for the future, and I'm ready for change. Change can be one of the hardest things in the world if you're not prepared. Luckily for us graduates, we had an amazing and talented group of teachers preparing us every single day. I will never be able to thank you all enough for everything you've done for us. I know there were times where you wanted to quit, and you often sacrificed your time and personal lives for us, but we wouldn't have made it without you. You taught us that it doesn't matter where we've come from because we can overcome anything. You've shown us the path to a better, brighter future. Your impact on our lives will truly be everlasting. Thank you. Graduates, whatever you do after this day, whether it be college or trade school, turning a part-time job into a career, or just chasing your dream, please do not let their sacrifice and your hard work go to waste. Do what makes you happy, even if attempting it is scary. Learn from your mistakes. Learn from everything you do, and continue to grow as an individual. There's an entire world out there waiting for you to make it a better place. I know some of you have plans to move away, while others will be staying closer to home. But I know no matter where any of us move, we'll all be moving on to better things. The past 4 years at Phoenix have been about rising, transforming, and soaring. The first 2 phases have come to an end, so do as St. Ignatius said, and go forth and set the world on fire.
All right, I'd now like to introduce Caden Brothers and Ethan Hemming.
I'm sailing right behind, like a bridge over troubled water. I will ease your mind, like a bridge over troubled waters. I will ease your mind.
Wow, that was worth it. All right. So Mr. Brewer, who's hiding up there at the top, our senior English teacher, each year reads the same book with a student. And the book is entitled The Last Lecture. It is written by Randy Posh, and many of you may have seen the video on YouTube. Randy Posh is a professor at Carnegie Mellon University. Carnegie Mellon every year invites one professor to give the last lecture. It just so happens in 2009 he was the one selected to give the last lecture, and the title of the lecture was Achieving Your Childhood Dreams. What was unique is Randy Posh knew he had pancreatic cancer. And you think, but man, that's got to be a sad story. No, quite the opposite. It's an incredible, uplifting, passionate story. It is not filled with sadness, but rather hope and insight. So Mr. Brewer also requires every senior to give their last lecture before they get out of Phoenix. It is full of facts, but it's also history, but it's also hope and uplifting. Tonight, we are in for a treat. There are two students that asked me to deliver their last lecture together. It's entitled, this is really high tech, Our Last Lecture. Their theme is Rise, Transform, and Soar. I have to warn you, it's written by students and it's written in a student voice. Maybe a little bit different than what you hear in a graduation speech. It's very personal. It is full of hope and insight. I would now like to introduce Lauren Deal and Raven Smith to deliver their last lecture. And we will follow along with the slides as well, because that's an important part of it.
My name is Lauren,
And my name is Raven.
and this is our last lecture.
So the type of person that I see Lauren to be is motivated, respectful, outgoing, unique, and very adventurous.
But I think I'm lazy, I procrastinate a lot, and I have a really bad attendance record. Raven, the type of person I see Raven to be is very talented. She is outgoing, goofy, and very creative.
But I'm also known to be unmotivated. I've been bullied, and I'm a very anxious person.
Our brick walls. Raven's brick walls are depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem.
Some of Lauren's brick walls are her mom's sickness, challenging home environment, and bad attendance.
Raven, 9th grade.
And Lauren attended Phoenix in the 6th grade.
Rise. I went to Lane Elementary.
And I went to Audubon Elementary.
Poetry Slam. This is the moment where I saw Raven for who she really was. This was a very emotional moment for me, and this is where I actually saw her transform.
So she's bringing that up because now I'm about to do a continuous poem about my elementary elementary, middle school, and high school years. So if you could just follow along with me and bear with me. Elementary school started off cool. You know, I liked the school. But when the anxiety hit, I didn't know what to do. The bullying would come and go, yet I was able to keep up with the flow. Fast forward to middle school, and this is when things became so uncool. Maybe this is the middle school slide. So in the bathroom is where I spent all of my time, trying to find a place I could hide. As different ones would come and go, I would immediately try to run until my facade became undone. I went from being a happy little girl to multiple attempts of trying to leave this world. As my mom searched desperately for me a high school to attend, she talked to a particular counselor for hours, listening to why Phoenix would be the best fit for her delicate flower. She set up a meeting with me, and to my surprise, it was Miss B. To this day, my family holds her near and dear to our hearts. My mom credits her for giving me a new start. And if I could give Miss B a hug real quick.
I was terrified, scared, ugly, and we moved to a new school building. This is where we soared. Mr. Roundtree, he made me realize I was going to pull through, retire well, and I'm going to come give you a hug now.
So Mr. Roundtree actually retired just a few days before the end of this school year. Okay, this is the last part of my continuous call. Young blood, raise your hand for me, please. Thank you, I get to see you. From the very beginning, you held me to high standards, always pushing me to try harder, and letting me know that you knew that I was smarter than I gave myself credit for. You always let me know that you had an open door. Yeah, I know this was going to happen, so I know you're not shocked. But, can you see? Hold on. I will never forget when you encouraged me to enter the talent show. Meanwhile, my anxiety was telling me, heck no, just like right now. Not in front of the whole school. The look on your face said, I believe in you, and I pushed through. So as I walk through these doors, I give credit to all of you. Yes, Mr. Brewer, Ms. Doty, Mr. Harden, and many others. Thank you for helping me soar.
My adventures, I'm very different from Raven, as you can tell. Tattoos, promposal, and music festivals are kind of my thing.
Like you said, we're very different. So my adventures were going to prom, Canada. Canada is one of my favorite places in the whole wide world. So, and the Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania, because I'm obsessed with Reese's Cups, if you know that. So, yeah.
Where will I soar? Credit to Mr. Harden on this slide. Encourage others, be positive, execute my
graduating college, buying a house, career that will make me happy. And Jefferson Community Technical College is where I will attend on August 15th of 2018.
Where will I soar? My house. Pushing through everyday struggles and understanding that I have anxiety, but anxiety doesn't have me. My what? Finding a career and being self-sufficient. Starting June 7th, I will be going to insurance school to be licensed as an all-state insurance agent. I hope to one day own my own agency.
I am hungry, wild, creative, but I'm lovable. And my why is to have the freedom to live a worry-free life so my children are not left with the same burdens that I had.
And I, on the other hand, am brave, sometimes. Courageous, maybe. Fearless, maybe not. But I'm gonna make it. So as a result of all of this, I will be able to live my best life every day. Also, my senior quote, what feels like the end is often the beginning. So soar, we made it.
Thank you, guys. That was wonderful. The hardest thing is when you start to bury your soul, is letting it go. So, thank you very much. In keeping with the theme of Rise, Transform, and Soar, we're now going to hand out the Rise, Transform, and Soar awards. If you look at the crest, it's all over the brochure, and that is, it's our motto. I would now like to have Miss B come up. She will be describing to you Rise, Transform, and Soar, and we'll hand out some awards.
I love this part. The phoenix is a mythical bird that crashes and burns and is regenerated or reborn. This rebirth is a powerful metaphor for Phoenix graduates. Our motto states, Rise, Transform, and Soar. And these are steps in the process of our rebirth. All of our graduates tonight have exhibited examples of this reawakening. But tonight, we have 3 awards that symbolize our commitment to the mythical bird, the phoenix. The first award is the Rise Award. It is an award that signifies an upward movement, an instance of becoming greater, like a bird that is taking flight and is beginning to rise. And the student that has depicted this to the utmost is Mr. Owen Axman. Our second award is the Transform Award. And to transform is to be reborn or regenerated, and it means you have to leave the old behind and create the new. While your outside looks the same, your inside is changed dramatically. Your thoughts, your character, and your actions reflect something special. And the student that gets this award is Jessica Strain Harris. Our third award is the SOAR Award. This is the ultimate is to sail or to hover in the air, often at great height, or to ascend to a higher or more exalted level. They had to make a conscious and steady effort to change. Often they leave the ordinary and they become extraordinary. This student is Darion Garner.
So you're probably wondering why they're all wearing different colored stoles. There's 4 different colors. This was something that was set up by students a couple years ago, and that is that they looked at the crest and they said, you know, that crest has got some unusual features. Why couldn't we kind of match the features with our aspirations and our goals? So this September, November, I asked each one of the students, what is it that you stand for? And the second question is, if you're not sure you really stand for it, what would you like to stand for? Because we aren't all there yet, but in their case, they are trying to become something. And that is, if you look at our crest, the orange is fire, and fire is like leadership. The second one is wings, and it's the color of white, and it is caring. Heart is red and friendship. The mind is yellow, and those are the doers that get things done. So tonight we'd like to recognize those students by the color of their stole. So, orange is for fire. It's a new path. These students are the leaders. They're resilient, innovative. All students with orange stoles, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. Please be seated. The next one are the wings. They're white. If you're suffering, I'm suffering. They are selfless and supportive. Will the students with the white stoles please stand and be recognized? Thank you. Please be seated. Heart. It's red. Genuine and authentic connection. These students are caring, living as a great teammate. With the students wearing the red stoles, please stand and be recognized. Please be seated. The mind. It's yellow. Thinking, making, or doing. These students are academic, passionate about creating. Will the students with the yellow stoles please stand and be recognized? Please be seated. Now, as an audience, you're probably sitting there, it's like, I cannot believe he's wearing that color. That doesn't match. This is a great opportunity to have a conversation of if it's where he aspires or she aspires to be, carry him along. They're going to need your help. So don't think that by wearing that color, it's a done deal. You need to keep working with them. So at this time, I would now like to call Dr. Ferrari up to the stage, and we will have the statement of the presentation of the diploma ceremony. As the principal of the Phoenix School of Discovery, I'm working on that. With the authority invested in me by Jefferson County Board of Education and the Commonwealth of Kentucky, I present to you the graduating class of 2018. This class has met all the requirements for graduation.
As an assistant superintendent of the Jefferson County Public School System and representing the board this evening, I authorize you to issue the diplomas, signifying that these students have met all requirements for graduation and are entitled to all honors that are agreed upon them.
row, please rise. Owen Lee Axman. Amber Dawn Berryhill. Alexia Ray Brown. Andrew Roger Canfield. Lauren Nicole Deal. Rebecca Nicole Dorillas. Deontay Eric Monroe Elder. Jacob Aiden Irwin. Joshua Trevor Fletcher. Darion Lamont Garner. Second row, you may rise. Danny Lee Goss, Jr. Ronald Dwayne Grundy, Jr. Brandon Michael Hartledge. Ethan August Hemming. Christina Renee Higdon. Madison Tracy Hoover. Macy Sierra Irving. Keandra Mikkel Jones. Morgan Delaney Kiefer. Sarah Louise Napper. Third row, please rise. Dara Lynn Lambert. Adriana Marie Landrum. James Anthony LaRoe. Ryan Lee Matson. Skylar Dakota Mesmer. Jenna Caitlin Moody. Adam Robert Nally Johnson. Simon Ignatius No. Devin Lorenz Payne. Jacqueline Rose Payton. Fourth row, please rise. Sydney Nicole Pearson. Zachary Mason Frerio. Jacob Daniel Raymer. Jennifer Ann Roth. Rebecca Elizabeth Jessica Michelle Strain Harris. Last row, you may rise. Camille Elaine Devin Matthew Webb. Jake Logan Webb. Timothy Henry Whitlock.
Last row, please be seated. I would now like to introduce the graduating class of 2018. All right, so there is always one last thing you have to have at the graduation ceremony. So I'd like to have Macy Irving, Christina Higdon, please come forward for the turning of the tassel.
Graduates, please stand. The graduation tassel is a symbol of success. The gesture of moving the tassel from one side of the cap to the other symbolizes the individual's movement from candidate to graduate. Prior to the ceremony, the tassel is expected to be worn on the right. Moving the tassel to the left after graduating is a symbolic of crossing over from high school to another stage in your life.
Right.